Good morning and welcome to the Killik and Co Market Update. The S&P 500 hit yet another record high earlier this week before the markets closed for the Thanksgiving holiday yesterday. Here's the 12-month chart. You can see the index is up over 31% during that time period. We've seen significant movements into US equities since Trump's victory in the election, which has pushed the S&P higher. And as a result, the US market now accounts for an even larger proportion of the MSCI World Index, which is the global benchmark. Here's the latest country breakdown. The US now makes up 72.7%. Japan is still in second place with 5.4%, and the UK is third with just 3.5%. There's been a lot of talk about tariffs this week. Trump posted on social media that he intends to impose tariffs of 25% on goods being imported from Canada and Mexico, plus additional tariffs on China. Let's take a look at how much the US is currently importing from and exporting to these countries. The pink bars on here show what the US is importing and the green show what it's exporting. Most of the pink bars are much bigger than the green bars, and that suggests the US is reliant on foreign goods rather than producing for itself. Europe is exporting a lot of cars and machinery to the US, as well as agricultural products and luxury goods. Mexico is exporting cars, electronic equipment, and agricultural produce, but a lot of the cars and electronics are actually being made by American companies that have chosen to build their factories in Mexico because it's cheaper. Trump's tariff threats have been causing currency movements, and this chart shows how the euro in the green and the Mexican peso in the pink have declined against the dollar in percentage terms over the last 12 months. The euro is down 4% and the peso is down 16%. In his last presidency, Trump threatened a lot of tariffs that didn't materialize, so we'll have to wait and see if he's serious this time or if he's just using threats as a negotiating tactic. Looking at commodity markets this week, the coffee price has hit a 47-year high. Here's the 20-year price chart. You can see the price has tripled since 2004. Brazil and Vietnam are two major producers of coffee, and both have experienced very bad weather this year, which has impacted this year's crop and is expected to hit next year's as well. So this is yet another example of climate change impacting commodity prices. And lastly, the latest data for UK car manufacturing has been published, showing that the number of cars being manufactured in the UK has fallen for the 8th consecutive month. Here's the year-to-date data for 2023 versus 2024. The pink shows cars produced for the home market, and the green shows cars produced for the export market. And you can see there's been a big drop in the export category. And just this week, Ford has announced significant job cuts here in the UK, and Vauxhall owner Stellantis has announced the closure of its factory in Luton. Stellantis in particular has been critical of UK government policy. The industry has been encouraged to produce more electric vehicles, but consumers have been given little incentive or support to buy them. So that essentially means the industry is producing cars that are not being sold, and that is really harming their profit margins. Any potential tariffs from the American market would make the situation worse. Moving on to have a look at next week, it's another very quiet one on the corporate calendar, but we are expecting results out from Salesforce. That's it from us. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.